Welcome into the college football opening line report. Drew's Daily Diamond going daily on the WagerTalk YouTube channel as I'm breaking down round two, the quarterfinals of the opening lines, and projecting out where these lines will finish by kickoff here as we got New Year's Eve and New Year's Day kickoffs for the four games. Let me know in the comments below where you agree, where you disagree. All is welcome, guys. Smash that like button if you're liking the content. As we got first game up here, New Year's Eve, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Actually, all of these games on ESPN. Quarterfinal round in the Fiesta Bowl, Glendale, Arizona, Penn State and Boise State, 52 being the total. We're seeing the Penn State Nittany Lions. They were minus 10 and a hook. Now it's mostly minus 11s as I'm doing this Monday afternoon about 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. So the Fiesta Bowl, Glendale, Arizona, where the Arizona Cardinals play their home games. Penn State comes in 12-2 on the season, just 7-6 against the spread, and Boise State 12-1 on the season, 8-5 against the spread. James Franklin, I don't know if he kicked the, not winning big games, beating SMU, but they did look dominant, guys. 38-10 win over the SMU Mustangs, getting themselves to the round two. Now, granted, that was a home game in Happy Valley. They look strong. They look strong in the trenches. Good play overall. One of the more solid outings I've seen Penn State play this season. Not that they didn't have a bunch of them, but that was up there with it. Boise State on the other side, the Mountain West champions, the group of five representative here with the bye due to being a conference champion, regardless of how you think about it. From a handicapping angle here, guys, Boise State, in terms of profile, from the group of five, this is the best group of five profile I can remember off the top of my head, possibly throughout my lifetime. 12-1, your one loss by 3 points on the road to Oregon, the number one overall seed here. So this is as respectable as it gets from this level. That was back on September 7th, their first loss, I believe, was the second game of the season. And sure enough, their running back Genty, in the Heisman list there in New York. In my opinion, he probably should have won it. This is a team that beat UNLV 2 times, but they aren't from the Big Ten, they aren't from the SEC. That's kind of what's keeping them back here, and we're seeing it in the line movement. A lot of people like in Penn State. I wouldn't be surprised if that keeps going. I doubt it gets to 2 touchdowns. We're not going to see some monster move unless there's a huge injury. But minus 11, minus 10 and a hook at 2 books right now, looking at the WagerTalk live on screen. If you do like Penn State, I would suggest getting that 10 and a half right now. I wouldn't be surprised if this closes 11, even 11 and a half. Totals wise, this is a round where 3 of the 4 games are in a dome, so controlled climate, fast track. And one of the games is in Pasadena, California. There's Southern California this time of year. You can't really expect projecting out what 10 days is that going to have any weather? Likely not. So whether or not to be a factor in this round, unlike the last round. Totals wise, I don't have a strong feel, guys. I could see Boise State struggling running the football. This is arguably the best run defense they've gone up against. I kind of lean under, but I doubt we get much movement totals wise. Instead, I'd project this one to finish Penn State probably minus 11 and a hook by kickoff. We'll talk the next game, turning the page here to 2025. Welcome to the year 2025. And this will be the first college football game of the new year. Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. It is in Atlanta, Georgia, the Peach Bowl, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Texas Longhorns, and Arizona State Sun Devils. 52 also being the total, minus 14, pretty much across the board right now. That is the Longhorns as the favorite. It was 13 and a half. We've seen a tick up here with Texas winning in the first round and Arizona State having the bye as well, the 4 seed overall. I actually personally feel some of that is bettors taking what they learned in round 1 and just seeing some of these teams that maybe didn't belong, at least there was a question there, and really not having a good showing from that side of things and kind of carrying that over to this round. it might be as easy as that, guys, because the power ratings were the openers, and now we are seeing a push on both Penn State and Texas, the two teams that kind of have that profile in their opponent, the conference champion that got their way in, winning their conference. Texas 12-2 on the season, just 7-6 against the spread. Arizona State, the Big 12 conference champions, 11-2 overall. Also, they were money ATS, 11-2 against the spread in their 13 games. And you normally don't see the money go against the team that cashed in 11 of their 13 games. But at least to this point, we have seen a half-point move towards Texas. Now, granted, Texas was 12-0 against all teams not named Georgia. They did lose to Georgia twice, once in the regular season and then once in the SEC championship, both competitive matchups. Arizona State, Cam Scadaboo, their running back, he's one of the most fun athletes in college football to watch. He's tough to tackle. But granted, he was going against the Big 12 conference schedule, and now he's going against an SEC team. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that SEC moniker, but it is something in terms of athletes I like to pay attention to. Even though, granted, the Sun Devils were undefeated against the SEC this year. They were 1-0. It was against Mississippi State. They won by 1 touchdown on September 7th, and Mississippi State, in my opinion, was the worst team in the SEC conference, so I'm not going to give them too much credit for that. Overall, guys, I don't see Arizona State taking a lot of money here. They're having to go to Atlanta. I think it's the Texas Longhorns. If you like them here, I'd grab the 14 because I wouldn't be surprised if this goes off 14 and a hook, and it could be an important hook when it's all said and done. We'll talk the third game up here, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, from the Rose Bowl, Pasadena, California. Ohio State and Oregon, 55 being the total here. It was Ohio State -1. We've seen a tick up here to -2 at most shops as I'm talking. There is 1.5 still available. 11-2 for Ohio State, 7-6 against the spread. Oregon, clean slate here, 13-0 straight up. The only team going undefeated this season, 7-6 against the spread. Now, these two teams, this is a rematch. They played once in the regular season. It was October 12th in Eugene, Oregon. It was 32-31. I remember that game very well. It was one of the better games of the college football season. I guess not if you're a Buckeyes fan, but it really did come down to the end, a very competitive matchup. Ohio State was going to kick a field goal, try to score a touchdown, whatever the case may be at the end of the game. Quarterback, he doesn't slide in time and the time runs out. So, that's what type of game, how competitive it was. Really, Dylan Gabriel, he threw for 341 pass yards. I don't know if a lot's going to change. The scheme aspect, I don't think you're going to stop Oregon in their offense. You can contain them a little bit more for sure, but Oregon's going to get theirs. I think Ohio State's going to score a bunch too. Ohio State, they look good in round 1. I think that's, again, guys, part of why they're taking money here. Also, it gets tough because the last game was in Eugene, Oregon, home game. This time they're heading to Southern California. It is on the West Coast, but still Ohio State travels well. They got extra time to prepare, obviously. Man, we've already seen a point tick here to Ohio State. I doubt it gets to 3. If it does, it won't be long-lived. People will jump on Oregon. So I see this one finishing -2, possibly -2.5. If it touches 3, I would grab it if you like Oregon soon. Don't wait till the end of the day, something like that, because I doubt it lasts long other than an injury. All right, guys, got one game left. Trying to keep it a quick show here. The opening line report, college football playoff style. Let me know in the comments below where you agree, where you disagree, what your picks are for the college football playoff, any bowl games, NFL, college basketball. It's all welcome in the comments below. It helps out the algorithm growing the show. All right, guys, 8:45 Eastern, 5:45 Pacific for arguably the best game of the bunch in the round 2, the Sugar Bowl, New Orleans, Louisiana, Caesars Superdome, where the Saints play their home games. It is Notre Dame and Georgia, the nightcap here, 44 being the total. Georgia opened 1.5. We're seeing mostly -2s. There is one -1 and a hook on the offshore market. Looking at the WagerTalk Live odd screen here. Notre Dame comes in 12-1 on the season, 10-2 against the spread, 9 straight cashes ATS. This team has been a money printer here. They did beat an SEC team in Texas A&M week 1. Looked pretty good defensive matchup there. But that was a long time ago, and now they're going up against the SEC champions, the Georgia Bulldogs, who are 11-2 on the season. However, just 4-9 against the spread. Although, I pumped the brakes on that if you're looking to go up against Georgia just because they're against the spread record. Kirby Smart is not a head coach that looks to run it up. So some of those losses, are Georgia winning the game, just not covering a big number. Now, Georgia, between the threes, a competitively priced game, they were 2-2 on the season. And it's Kirby Smart versus Marcus Freeman prepping for this, but there's question marks at the quarterback position with the Georgia Bulldogs. Who's going to be playing in this game? And they're up against Riley Leonard, the signal caller for the other side. I actually think it's an advantage towards Notre Dame in the quarterback handicap. I just go back to Georgia, guys. Overall, their profile. This is a team that's won 8 straight playoff games. This team has been absolutely money in the college football playoff, and some of those are just in the Final Four. This is, if you remember last year, the way it's set up, Georgia got like the short end of the stick, it being left out of the college football playoffs, just losing that one game in the SEC championship last season to Alabama. Then Alabama was actually the representative for the SEC. It was head scratching there because they would have went for 3 straight national championships. They won the last 2 before that. So they're going to get another chance here to make their run. I'm not looking to bet against the Georgia Bulldogs in this situation, guys. I don't like going against Notre Dame personally, but I just think Georgia has the more NFL talent. If you're betting on a team in this price range and you get the better players, it's tough to go against, guys. So, hey, it is in New Orleans, Louisiana. Going to be a big-time matchup. 2 marquee programs here. A great one with a lot of NFL talent on both sides. I just think Georgia has more of it. So, hey, there's -1.5 available right now. I would jump on that sooner than later. I think this goes off Georgia -2, possibly 2.5, and projecting out, it could touch 3 here. So if you like the Bulldogs, I would recommend it sooner than later. Guys, that's going to do it for the opening line report, college football playoff style. Hey, it's Christmas week here. We're going to be talking bowl games and NFL for the remainder of the week. So make sure to tune in as the week goes on. We'll have a Christmas show the day after, all of that. So this is Drew's Daily Diamond. I'm checking out. Comment below. Smash that like button. Cash those tickets. Thanks for tuning in.